Hello, family. Pastor George here, your pastor of stewardship and finance and advisor. We're going to be talking about dollars and cents. Don't go anywhere. Hello, family. Pastor George here. Welcome to SET-4-LIFE. Hey, we're going to have an exciting episode, and one of the things that we've always been going through is teaching people how to better manage their finances. But also, we have just done a series called The Color of Money, where we walk through all these different areas. And I even showed an area in real estate where people are saying, like, how to buy a house or how to do things. But we can't actually buy a home unless we're in position to be able to do it. I know football season is over, but you got to get in position to be able to do things. So today we're going to talk about the mechanics of getting in position to do things successfully financially. But now, I just want to let you know, for the first time in 2022, we got our co-pilot, Crystal Mozell. Everybody give her a shout out in the chat. How you doing, Crystal?
I am doing excellent and just happy to be here with you today, Pastor George. It is a pleasure.
Good, good. I thought we'd be doing it by having the little screens and everything like that. But we got Crystal here live and in person. Crystal, for a moment, can you tell everybody what you do here at the church and your position as a coordinator? Just tell us a little bit about it.
So my name is Crystal Mozell, and I am the stewardship coordinator and work directly under you and for you. I know you hate to hear that, but
she said under me, but y'all, keep going.
And my other role that I play here at Faithful Central is the operations director for our special projects. So that includes Operation Hope, where we give away goods to people in need. That also entails our vaccination clinics that we do, and any special projects that are bestowed upon me through the church.
Right, and I'm sorry, I gotta say big money, because we had our annual meeting recently. Can you tell us how much money worth of goods and services that were provided at Faithful Central Bible Church last year?
Through Operation Hope, we provided over $800,000 worth of goods to people in need in our community. We were able to bless them, and that was just awesome.
Yes. So also, Crystal has said that, and she does that. She has a heart to serve and also coordinates our events. So we do over, as you know, we do over 50, 60 events a year, and she coordinates them. And then we learned how to do them also online. So today, what we want to talk about is there's a class that we teach called Dollars and Cents. Now, I couldn't remember if it was Dollars and Saints. I call it a different name every time we do it and doing it. But first of all, Crystal, can you tell us a little bit about the class? I want to talk to you a little bit also about how it started, because I first want to tell you a little bit about how it started. Is that people come to us and say this: I want to retire. And then I'll say, okay, I'm going to show you how to build wealth. But you just take your paycheck and you just invest your paycheck. Then people say, I'm in debt. Okay, it's going to be 2 nights. Okay, my credit score 150. Don't type that in the chat. Don't type that in the chat. And say, okay, it's going to be 3 nights. Then we said, well, we have to get some system to getting people where we can show them the nuts and bolts of how to be successful. So can you tell us a little bit about dollars and, did I get it right, cents?
You did get it right, dollars and cents. But what I need people to understand, it's not C-E-N-T-S. It's cents, S-E-N-S-E,
okay,
so that you have a mind to understand what your dollars are doing and how they are working for you.
Okay,
that is Dollars and Cents. So Pastor George, Dollars and Cents is a 6-week course that we do here at Faithful Central. It will be having, we did it in person previously. We done it online, but the in-person just is a lot more intimate, and we get to talk more intimately when we do it online. So, when we do it in person. So it's the 6-week course. We cover your income plan, which you always talk about.
Right.
We talk about your debt plan. Right. So each week we are hitting on these topics that come directly from the wealth cycle.
Right. Okay,
the book. Gotcha. We actually read this and go through it. It is similar to the fast,
right.
But the fast is only 21 days. This breaks it down so that each section you have time to work on that particular area that we're on for that particular week.
Right.
So
And-
people get the opportunity
Right.
to delve in deeper and to understand their relationship with money.
That's what we needed. So one of the things I see that's very critical, and one of the reasons why it really helps people, is that sometimes people read a book or you hear something, but one of the things that's been over the 20 years, like you've seen when we brought Danette in, and we've had this before, is that we're actually taking applicable steps to achieve the goals. So actually, well, I'm gonna kick it back to you and tell me about the first night. But the first night is we taking commitments.
Yes.
So I want to talk about commitments, but just so you know, there's right off the 405 freeway, there's a man in the military standing completely straight up, and one of the things he says, we're not taking applications. We're taking commitments.
Yeah.
Because see, we need people to be more committed to what their goals are, because people make excuses. Like, only excuse you need not to work out now is it rained. You know, like, well, hey, it didn't rain inside the gym, or now you can work out at home. So there's so many options. We want to remove the excuses. So tell us about the first thing about the first night, one of the things that happened.
So the very first
And
night,
not scare everybody. I'm sorry, go ahead.
the very first night, and this shouldn't be scary, because anything you do that's worth having or doing is you have to make the commitment to it, right? You have to decide that I am going to take the steps to do this. So the very first night, we do the commitment form. You commit to being a good steward over what God has blessed you with. And Pastor George, you say this all the time. It's not about the 10% in tithing. It's about the 90%, what you do with what else you have. How are you using that to glorify God and build wealth? Generational wealth for your family. So the very first night, that's exactly what we do. We sign that commitment. We talk about some of the things that have stopped us from being committed to being good stewards.
Okay. That's another word for excuses, everybody. I'm sorry, go ahead.
It is, because that's what we make. We tend to make excuses about everything we don't follow through and do. And try and get people to understand that this is the beginning. We want you to be in the starters club, but first and foremost, we need you to be in the finishers club, right?
Amen. So one of the things is, obviously, you know, in the Bible, the Bible says in Psalms 24:1, the earth is the Lord's and the fullness therein. That means everything belongs to God. We're stewards over it. So we manage 4 things every day. Time, 86,400 seconds in a day. How well you manage that dictates how well you do in life. The second is you're a talent, a skill. I'm a twin and I have twins. Everybody has a different fingerprint. So make sure we always are in Set for Life helping you with your skills in doing that. Third is temple, your body is taking care of your body. And then the fourth is what we're talking about right now, is your treasure. So we want to make sure we're managing our finance. So understand that belongs to God, the 100%. So we tithe, but then we manage that other 90% very, very well. And then after we do that, then we didn't scare anybody, but we want to make sure that you make a commitment. Then go ahead and tell them what do we do next. It starts with a B and ends with an udget.
But no, see, I'm going to flip the script on you right now.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to do what you do. It's a budget plan, right? I mean, it's an income plan. I take that back, income plan.
There you go.
I like to call it flat out a budget, right?
Right.
It's a budget, but what we have to understand is that a budget doesn't mean limitations. It just means planning for what you want to do. So income plan is really exactly what it is also, because you're planning what you're doing with the income that you have. So that is something that we spend a lot of time on, and that is a sweet spot, because in that we learn where people are not being the best stewards of what God has blessed them with. I'm gonna mention something that most people tend to do every morning. What they do, Pastor George, they're at Starbucks picking up what?
Right.
Hot water.
There you go. Flavored hot water, $5.
Exactly.
$5 a day.
Every day.
5 days a week, $25. Now, by the way, we ain't giving out stock tips today, but anyway, we shareholders, so go ahead with it. That $25 times 4 is $100 a month. And then $100 a month, 12 months is $1,200. That $1,200, we have to make sure if that could be better used somewhere. If you guys remember whenever we do the fast and everything, the first thing I tell you is get a prosperity jar. And then now, because of the pandemic, people don't carry change around, you get a prosperity account. Oh my gosh, that sounds so good, I'm gonna repeat it again. You have a prosperity account. That's where you're building wealth, but also You guys, you're building generational wealth. Think about it like you're not just trying to build enough just for you. Think about how you're going to build it with your family. That's how you get them involved. Also, during the commitment, we also ask you to start getting family members committed. Because you see how you say, when you go to Starbucks, I just threw up $5, and then some people go, well, I don't spend $5. I said, oh, but that's not including the scones and all the other stuff you're getting everybody else and all the other foods and everything else. What you're doing is you're saying, I'm going to give up something. I'm not doing the financial fast. I'm not doing the fast. But remember, we have to focus, act, sacrifice. We got to give up something and then trust God that we get blessed in that area. So one of the things we budget, we learn about how we're doing it. But then since you flipped the script on me, number one is we have an income plan, because I don't want nobody calling me saying, I can't go to McDonald's. I can't supersize because of Pastor Thompson. No. If you got the income, come on with it. We just want to make sure we just want to explain what net worth is, what income is. In doing this. So income is you bring in all of the income you bring in. So then that's one of the things we also do during our budget. We say from your job, then we say from business number one, then we say from real estate, and we show you all these categories. And then this is also, you know what, I love it the way you do it. She's so nice and she smiles at everybody when they do it. We circle where it says, oh, I don't have any real estate income. Oh, I don't have any investment income. Oh, I don't have any royalties. I say, so let's start developing them right now.
Exactly.
So when you develop sources of income and the income rises, then you can begin to budget and raise things up and buy things that you can afford. So what are some of the best testimonies or things that kind of happen when people go through the budgeting process, those aha moments?
Oh, we have so many. So let's start. I want to end with the good. So we'll start with the worst. We find out that you think because you're going to the dollar store that you're saving money. But what you tend to do is buy more because you look at it and say, oh, it's just $1.
Right.
So that's one of the first obviouses that we see. One of the others is that subscription services. We have gone crazy. And I can only imagine during the pandemic how crazy we've gotten with subscription services, right? You have Apple TV, you have Netflix, you have all those things that you have paid for. And tell me this, how often are you really watching all of them to spend that money? So we see that. One of the better things that I have seen and one of the great things that have come out of people's income planning is that they didn't realize how much money was going into their retirement savings and how much they had accumulated, which when you don't see it, you don't realize it, but also you don't miss it. Right. Because you're used to doing without it, right?
Right.
So those are some of the negatives, somewhat, and then some of the positives. But the thing is, we flip those negatives into positives, right? We cut down, we stop subscribing to so much, figure out what it is, stop getting hooked to cable, that $350 bill a month, bring down our cell phone service, and that allows us to direct money into areas that are wealth building. Because what you're doing in those instances is you're building wealth for those stockholders and those CEOs and those people in those businesses or in those companies, rather than creating generational wealth for your family and yourself.
I know when we're talking about budget, it was just so exciting when you were talking about the negatives turning into positives. Because when we see people are spending $500 or $600 a month, some people sending something to a relative, some people doing that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with sending it, but just make sure you write down the numbers so that you see how much it adds up to a year, in doing that. Then you also brought up excess spending. But what happens is we start taking that exact same, and then we begin we're tithing, we're giving, and then also we're spending the same amount of money conducive to building wealth. Yes. Instead of getting subscriptions to some of these places, I'm just using the ones you named, the Netflix, the Apple, we're actually owning those companies. Yes. And then that helps us. And then after that, you teach a very good session, and we call it Do Good, everybody. Good. G-O-O-D. Get out of debt. Yes. So talk to us a little bit about how when you've been teaching that.
So the debt plan, that is crucial. Every once in a while, like I said, we'll start with the positives here. I get someone who doesn't have debt, which we applaud them for that, right? It does not happen often. But most of us come in and we have some debt. So we tackle that. That's that redirecting of that excess spending, that redirecting of the monies that we use for the subscriptions to pay down debt. We list it all out, everything you have that you owe on. Because by the time it's said and done, what do we want to be? Debt-free from everything. We don't want a mortgage. We don't want a car note. We don't want any credit cards or anything. So we lay out every single item that you owe on. And we take that and we have a debt multiplier. We call it a debt multiplier. And everything's in the wealth cycle. We go strictly from the book itself. We read those chapters so that we have a clear understanding of what we're doing, why we're doing it, and how we apply the knowledge that we've gotten from the book.
Right.
But we take that debt multiplier, and each month, unlike some other programs, we take that amount and apply that $100 minimum usually to that lowest debt amount, not the highest interest rate, but to the lowest debt amount, that multiplier, to see some results so that we get some feel good in us immediately, right?
I got to jump in here. So as we're paying off our debts, I think there's two things that happen in dollars and cents that really helps people. First of all, you said some people come to us and they have no debt. But typically when somebody has no debt, they don't have any investment, they don't have any assets. Like, in other words, they don't own a home. Mm-hmm. So what we want to do is show them how to make it a positive debt. Like, in other words, like how you're going to have it be an investment, or it's a duplex where someone else is helping them pay the rent, where they can build equity and build their asset base. But they'll say, but I'm uncomfortable with it and doing certain things. So we can show them the process of how to pay the debt down. And then also, it's one of the best things is being debt-free, is not having a mortgage. Actually, when we show people how to pay off their car, we tell them up front, we want you to pay off your car and your home. And when we show people the process, or I show them how I did, mm-hmm. There's many people that actually walk. You guys, there are people that walk around in the United States of America and don't think they'll ever be out of it. They'll ever be out of pay off a mortgage. Or they heard from someone that I don't want to pay off the mortgage because of tax reasons. But hey, don't worry. Don't worry. We're going to bring a tax expert in here, and he's going to break all the taxes down. Just tune in. We have that. But what we want to do is we want to talk about something called cash flow. Mm-hmm. Cash flow is when you aren't paying somebody and you can retain the asset and then you can build it, which goes to what we cover next. So we want to make sure we want you to do good. Everybody type in the chat, do good. Get out of debt. After that, what are some things that you cover the final weeks?
So the final weeks we cover investing, and
yes.
we actually always bring you in as
right.
our subject matter expert, right? And they get to ask questions and talk to you about investing and taking that excess money that they have seen, because we do say vesting, right? We don't just save, we save, invest, and get out of debt.
Translate it. Okay, guys, this word is not in the dictionary. It's save. First of all, you guys, you can't save money in the bank. Interest rates in banks are so low. Banks are used for transactions. So investing is when you invest with the intent to build wealth. So so now we're on number 3, and what that is an investment plan. There are 2 parts to it. One is investing, that is stocks, bonds, mutual funds for your retirement or wealth building account. And then part B of that is you have to have a separate real estate. How you're going to handle and how you're going to manage real estate. So we cover all those, but this is the beauty of when we get to the real estate part. Then I'll move to number 4. But after we move to the next one is this. The reason why real estate is so important is now they've gone through a budget.
Yes.
Danette would be excited right now. Now we've gone through a budget. We figured out what debt. Now we can see what home they qualify for.
Definitely.
Then we're going to talk about in real estate, you want to buy the ugliest, I'm sorry, did I say it loud enough? Ugliest house you can find. The smallest house, the worst looking house in the absolute best neighborhood with the biggest lot. Okay, but anyway, I know everybody else is waiting for a deal or something, and I'm gonna have a separate one where people can tell me, all the people that are waiting, what deal they're waiting to happen so that they can do it. But you understand, they're going to have to make a deal. And that's how we're going to walk through that in those classes. So so when people are watching the investment portion and everything like that, what are you kind of seeing as their eyes are opening or in doing that? What are you kind of seeing in that area?
Well, the new eyes that we talk about, everything, again, it's coming from the wealth cycle. We have new eyes, so we're looking at things in a different way. Our mindset has changed in the way that we are conquering our planning, our income plan. And what we utilize is the whole new eyes concept.
Right.
Like you said, the ugliest house. Listen, we have in California specifically, home values are exorbitant, right, to say the least. So you have to be looking for those new eye opportunities when you're looking in the real estate market. And even in investing, the same thing. You want to be able to see something. Pastor George, I mean, you're the epitome of what it is that we look to do before the pandemic, investing in things that we knew were going to work. You spoke about 3M, you spoke about Clorox, and all these things that we could be investing in. So you have to look beyond. And you guys, one of the best things to look at, what are your kids doing?
Right.
What is interesting
Don't
them?
give out all the stock tips. But we walked it, but that was good. But Crystal, it is awesome when we do that. I'm telling you from what I see from the people, how they light up, where they say, I don't know anything about investing, but then we start walking through what they do and our pandemics. Now we have our after ones, but then utilizing all the tools like their 401k, 403, utilizing all those. We'll cover more about those in the tax. Hey, so then you remember we also cover in the area of protection.
Yes.
So we want to make sure somebody has the proper life insurance. We want to make sure they have long-term care, make sure that they're doing that also with their family. And also they have the correct car insurance, health insurance, and especially when they're investing, things like that. Anything you want to add about that?
Well, what we didn't do in planning is the estate planning. We definitely want to have that, and we kind of skipped over the marriage and money. So we do have a small portion that's not a whole session,
right.
But we spend some time about your spouse or your significant other that you're going to be married to. We speak to them, and how to marry the money so that everybody's on the same level playing field and the same understanding. Right. So we cover that. And then lastly, we do the two together, which is your insurance, like you just mentioned, estate planning, which is imperative.
I'm going to ask you a question about that later.
Okay. We spoke earlier about this. I personally have seen the lack of estate planning affect my family.
Right.
So I am huge on it. And people say, oh, well, I don't own a home, or I don't have this amount of assets. I don't have over $100,000 worth of assets. I don't care if you have a penny to your name at this point in time. Right. First of all, change your mindset, right? You're going to get it. So let's go ahead and create that estate plan now, because the last thing you want to do is have Uncle Sam come and the state, it's not just Uncle Sam, the state take 20% of whatever that property or that asset is because you didn't have proper estate planning.
Right. Let's talk about that just a little bit. Estate planning is critical, because you obviously see here at the church the calls we get and the different areas. So first of all, when people say they don't have any money, usually that's not correct.
It's not.
So when we go through our first part about commitments and they find out their family, their family actually does have assets. They just need to work together to get them to increase a lot of time. So that's one of the things first and then that we walk through the mechanics of estate planning. So I just want to just list some of the things, and then you can help me if there's anything that we happen to miss. Okay. So there is something called a living trust. People need to have that. Yes. That is while you're alive. Then there is something called power of attorney. There are two types of power of attorney. There is one for finance, and there's one for medical. So then there is power of attorney. Those need to be in place. And then also then you talk about marriage and money, so we can find out if people are married or not. Because there's people that are separated and haven't talked in 20 or 30, a long time, and then know that these people are on all their paperwork. So paperwork needs to be checked, but we'll go on that later. Then also there's healthcare directives that also need to be done. And then also there's a will. So sometimes you want to have a pour over will, and you have a trust and a will. Those are elements. Anything else we need to add to that or say anything about estate planning?
Well, this is what I want to say. People make the mistake of trying to do things online the inexpensive way, and that comes back to bite you in the behind, to say it nicely, right? So go to an attorney who can back up that plan, that estate plan that you are putting together, who's going to ensure all the elements are there. One of the worst things you can do is have only certain parts of an estate plan and not a complete one.
Right. And not have things in the trust.
Yes.
We've met people that have a trust.
You have to fund it.
And then, but there's nothing in it. It has to be funded. So yes, we are just to let you know, it costs more later not to have an attorney.
Exactly.
Again, we're going to bring in some tax people in a while. It's better to have someone experienced at it than do it. And then already I'm not going to beat horses on having financial advisors as well, or someone that's giving you advice, so you can do it the most efficient way and not keep listening to just different people and then every week changing what you're doing.
Exactly.
So having an attorney and utilizing that and not saying, I don't have the funds, look at how you're going to get the resources to do that and then to set up a plan. Is that good?
That is excellent.
Good. So here,
Get it all.
let's walk through the plan. So everybody, can you give me a high five? So the 5 things that we just walked through is, number 1, you want to have an income plan, and you want to walk through that. So what are your sources of income? Then the second is you want to have a debt plan. As you saw, we talked about it, but we said the opposite. We said for you to do good. That means get out of debt. And then 3, you have an investment plan. There are 2 parts to that. The first part is how you're investing the money, meaning like stocks, bonds, mutual fund, but what's your retirement plan? If you have a business, how are you going to fund the business, expand the business, and build the business? That's part A. Part B is you have to have a separate plan that you're going to have in the area of real estate. We've repeated that. We have several classes that we've done on these as well, or several sessions that you can tune into. But what are you going to do real estate-wise for you and your family? Are you going to have your residence you live in? Are you going to buy units? Are you going to build? You guys, we did a whole series called Don't Sell Grandmother's House. We went through we had a 1,000 square foot home, everyone were in California, for $500,000 on a 6,000 square foot lot, and to build a duplex back there. And before you move in all the family members, I would say not to. Move in somebody else who's paying and let them pay off the property for you. And doing that. So you want to have a real estate plan. And then 4th, you want to have what's called a protection plan / tax plan. So what that is, and I'm going to ask you a tax question later. Protection means how you're going to protect the assets that you have. That's why you have car insurance, health insurance, and then you have life insurance and something called long-term care. And then also, in case you type in the chat right now, you may also want to have disability insurance or also umbrella policies. But we want to find out what type of insurance you need, but you get it before. It's like, remember I said umbrella? You get it before it rains. And then number 5, which we just talked about, is having a set forth an estate plan, and then all the mechanics of that. So we want to walk through all those with you so that you're building generational wealth for your family and you're passing it on. Anything else, though? I forgot to say anything you else want to add that you just bring up about tax?
I already said the bare minimum, but what you want to consider in all of this is that it's not an overnight process, that it definitely takes time to do, and that's why this is a 6-week class. But I do expect people to take this knowledge, and it's a lifestyle change.
All right.
So like anything that is impactful to your life, it usually is a lifestyle change when it's impactful. So I don't want you to do this for a month. I don't want you to do this for 6 weeks. I don't want you to do it for a year. You need to continually do this.
Right. And Crystal, like when you said it was a lifestyle, that's so critical because we want to keep doing it and just start and keep doing it. So for more information, people can do what?
They can actually text us at 833-321-3222, and you'll type in the message area, dollars and cents, and you will get more information. And cents is spelled SENSE. Remember the sense in your head, right? Making it make sense in your head. Right.
But also, I think it's good for them also to get on that list, so then we can start sending them more information, be about the financial fast, but really get into the class, dollars and cents. So that's how we walk you through the process. So family, again, I want to thank Crystal for coming in. Hey, shout her out in the chat. Also, I'd like for you to share this with your family. So just again, everybody is at one of 5 levels in life. Number 1, struggling and sinking. That means the inability to pay your current bills. The next level, steady. You have just enough to pay your bills, but if something snap, crackles, and pops, you fall down to struggling. Solid means that you're doing pretty good, been working somewhere for a while, take 1 week vacation, do those things. Next level, surplus. Quite simply, extra money. And then service. That means you're not concerned with finances at all. What we're doing is, this is a great example to get you from one level to the next level. And then you keep repeating the process and going the next level, the next level, and the next level. And then you don't also, she didn't say this, but this is also something that, because I think it's just out of just humility, is that when you do this, you're doing it as a family. You're not just trying to do this by yourself. Went to a conference and the speaker right before me You know what he said? He said something that kind of stuck with me. He said, when you ride alone, you can do things fast. But when you ride as a team, you can go further. I'm asking you today to go further. So there's going to be some information. There's going to be a link below that you can click on and get more information about coming to the class, Dollars and Cents. But help us help you get to the next level. Look forward to you tuning into our next episode of SET-4-LIFE, where we live by design, not by default.